The College of Law in Victoria, Australia provides practical legal training to law graduates via a blended mode of delivery. The course begins with 1 week of face-to-face workshops, following which it goes online. This first week is a really significant component of the course, and it allows the students to engage with their lecturers and their peers alike, plus it affords them a really safe space to explore, develop and refine these essential skills necessary for them to become effective Australian lawyers. But what to do if circumstances prevent students from attending the college? Well, this is what we faced a couple of weeks ago in Victoria due to the unprecedented impact of the COVID-19 virus. My name's Sophie Williams and I'm a lecturer at the College of Law at Victoria. I teach practical legal training mainly to law graduates who've been accepted into graduate programs within some of Australia's larger law firms. The day before one of my graduate groups was due to commence, I received a call from the firm advising that the graduates had actually all been sent home to work remotely due to specific COVID-19 concerns with one of their number. With their skills week due to commence the very next day, and the graduates at home with essentially no work to go on with, the firm asked for options. After a bit of discussion, it was ultimately decided that we would pivot sideways, we would reschedule their skills week, and we would begin their coursework the very next day. Now, while this sounds like a simple workaround, it in fact involved an unanticipated and challenging shift to their course structure. It required immediate consideration of the best communication methods, content, and course progression elements that they would need to undertake or be educated in order to kickstart this next day start. Now, upon reflection, I think this shift in course structure was really only possible due to the college's existing online program and also the experience and agility of the academic staff involved. To facilitate this modified start to the program, I reworked an existing orientation email and also the ethical decision-making workshop itself. The orientation was considered necessary because it gave them key contact details, key information about the course, and of course, key information about the college's learning portal, which they were going to have to dive into straight away. The ethical decision-making workshop was prioritised because it directly links to the first subject that the graduates were going to begin the very next day. And indeed, it directly links to the first task that they would have to undertake and submit to me. So that's Ethics and Professional Responsibility Task 1. And the information they needed to complete that was to be introduced to an ethical decision-making model. And this model was introduced, discussed, explained, applied, and practiced during the workshop, which normally takes place in the skills week. In the modified communications that I sent out to them, I provided them additional explanation regarding the model, and I devised a mini program of sorts to ensure that they began to apply the model and practice the model. They were provided or directed to 2 case studies and instructed to practice applying the model to these case studies over the next few days. After the first case study was analysed, the graduates were provided group feedback. Now, this group feedback was not designed to give them the right answer, but rather to demonstrate how the model could be applied to the case study. Graduates then attempted the second case study, and again, I formulated some group feedback. They emailed me their analysis of this case study, and in formulating the second round of feedback, I tried to collate all of their thoughts and ideas into a sample response. Now, again, this demonstrated how the model should be applied, but also it attempted to replicate the collaborative character of the ethical decision-making workshop, in which all thoughts and ideas are exchanged and they're built upon. A really welcome surprise to me at this time was the willingness of the graduates to engage with the materials and undertake the work I prescribed. Now, perhaps it was just a bit of a welcome distraction from current events and circumstances, but I also think it may have been due to the structure they'd been provided and the direct instruction teaching method implemented, which gave the graduates certainty of task in quite uncertain times. This, coupled with the fact that the graduates were informed that these tasks were not going to be accessible, may have created a non-threatening environment and prompting them all really just to give it a go. Now, I'm pleased to say that 2 weeks have since passed since the course began, and the graduates have all gone on to successfully complete Ethics and Professional Responsibility Task 1, that task that we wanted to get them to. So it appears that this modified start has worked. So would I do anything differently? Well, yes, of course, with hindsight, I would. There's always room for improvement. In terms of pedagogy, I would have designed a more active and collaborative learning process. For example, I would have assigned the graduates to groups or just pairs in order to have them discuss the case studies and apply the model in these groups or pairs. However, I do acknowledge that they likely did this by informal communication channels, Messenger and so on. And if they did, I hope they really found value in that communication and they were able to problem solve, discuss and collaborate together. So what next? Well, the college has moved really swiftly and is now delivering face-to-face skills workshops via online delivery. My graduates group Skills Week is now going to be rescheduled and it should be undertaken in the next few weeks. And I am really looking forward to meeting them virtually, at least at the skills workshop when I deliver certain components of that. And what I'm going to be doing is thanking them for their flexibility and their participation at what was quite a challenging time.